Hello, YouTube. I hope everybody's doing well today. It's a beautiful fall morning here in southern Kentucky. The leaves are falling. It's that type of weather where it's cold in the morning, then it heats up to about 70 or 80. It's kind of, and all the kids are getting sick and bringing shit home to you. And yeah, that's tis the season for that. But I'm excited. Halloween's coming up. I'm a big fan of that. I have kids. I always enjoy taking them, but today I thought I'd do a video. I just was thinking about it the other day and about some brands that I almost, was not going to carry or was not going to buy any of. Some brands that made some bad first impressions with me, but turned out that I really like them and I'm pleased with them and I'm pleased to have them in my collection. And the first one, believe it or not, would be EMP EDC. Beautiful knife. This is the Nimble Warncliffe. I love it, but I didn't when I first got it. This knife, I think if I remember right, I pre-ordered it. Maybe I'm really not sure, but I was really excited to get this, and when I did, and I opened the box, I'm not sure what was going on with it, but the blade would grind and you didn't want to close it. Like you were like, oh my gosh, it was that screeching, grinding, nasty sound. And I immediately started looking into how to do a return. I'm like, what in the hell is wrong with it? Something bad was wrong. So I can remember filling out the form, listing, let's see, what number I had, and getting ready to go through with the return and all of that. And I was, of course, ticked off. I'm like, man, this is like I believe $300, I think, for this. And plus I was excited, looking forward to it, and I got it, and it was, felt like garbage. Something was bad wrong with it. Now, another odd thing to that is I done nothing. I don't know what happened, but after I got the, on the website and everything, the information filled out to do a return and the reason why and all of that, I got the knife back out of the box and just flicked it a couple times. And I don't know if something flicked out of it without me seeing, or I don't know what happened, but the knife's beautiful now. It's fine. I've never cracked it open. Now I've never messed with it to see. I've never taken it apart, but there's nothing wrong with it, guys. It's fantastic. And yeah, I love it. It's a EMP EDC, kind of tricky for me to say, but yeah, I love them. The grinds are beautiful. This is an awesome knife, man. Lots of opening options on it. They're all easy to do. Some knives feel cluttered when they do that. This one doesn't. It's nimble, like the name. So that was a bad moment. And, when things like that happen, sometimes, I'm sure I was saying things like, I'll never do that again, or I guess I learned about that, blah, blah, blah. But that led me, after it cleared up, then I got this. This is the Thick Boy. This is a cool knife too, man. Really well made. Now this one arrived with 0 issues, so it goes to show you everybody can mess up. There can be one, but I give them another chance, and it's fine. And like I said, I don't know what happened here. I really don't. I may crack this open and see if there's anything in there that I can tell, like if there's any maybe scratches in there left behind from whatever was going on or something. So that'd probably be interesting to do. But the Thick Boy arrived, fantastic. Nothing wrong with it at all. So yeah, I can recommend these if you guys like the style of these knives. Now they're not all butcher blades, Warncliffes and stuff. They make other blade shapes, but the Relative will be the next one I get. But EMP EDC, check them out. Bad first impression, but it turned out just fine. I love these knives. Next would be Devo knives. Now, this situation is a little bit different. This was my first Devo knife, and I paid $330 for this. in the pictures and specs, everything that I could see, looked fine. And when it arrived, it was fine. But in my eye, in my mind, this just wasn't a $330 knife. That's the space I live in. I have over 300 knives, and most of them are between that 250, 350 range, 400. Most of them are. 75%. So I guess that is most of them. But this knife works fine. It is fine. Everything's fine. But I was just a little disappointed. I did not feel like this was a $330 knife. I think this was done by Kubi, maybe, or Bestech. I can't really remember what they were messing around with a few different manufacturers. But the knife's great, guys. I don't want to, sound like it arrived bad or anything. Just for me, I was pretty disappointed. And that was kind of the end. This is the only Devo I own for that reason. But I still followed them, and it's nothing against them. Or if you have this knife and you feel like $330 was a value for it, then that's not a knock on the knife per se. That's just a difference in opinion. But I still follow Devo, and I still like them. Nothing really against them too bad. And I noticed that they're putting out a lot of kick-ass things and the prices have come way down. So maybe it was that they felt, maybe that's the price they had to put this at. I don't know the situation. I'm just saying how I felt. It was kind of a bad first impression for me. I was not happy that I paid $330 for this knife. To me, it felt more like about a $250, $275, somewhere around there at tops. But it's a great knife. Everything works fine. So that's kind of my opinion on that. Bad first impression, but like I said, I will be buying more Devo knives when they have one. The tall boy, I think, is the one I'm interested in next. So that's that situation. Kind of a bad first impression for me, but everything turned out all right. And next would be, now there's a lot to this brand. This brand is kind of a love-hate. It's there's just so much going on inside this brand, and there's just so little to be known to. Like, they don't advertise, they don't do much. They're probably one of the oddest knife brands out there, and I think anybody that collects Tucsons will agree with a lot of the things I say. When they hit a home run, it is just, they make fantastic knives for the price. I probably give around $100 for this knife. S110V steel, the grinds, the pocket clip, everything comes together on this. It's fantastic. But that's not always the case with Tucson. I believe it was Justin from OCD for EDC that used to rave about Tucsons and kind of got me interested in them. And the first one that I bought, it wasn't this one, but the first one I bought, I don't have it anymore, was absolute garbage. The pocket clip didn't work. The blade, when the knife was closed like this, the blade was sticking out back here, literally, like it was flush, and in the meat of your finger would get down, it would cut you open. Just different things. But that's really kind of how Tucson operates. Like, it's rare that you get one. You may get one in the mail that the action, the look, the pocket clip is fantastic on it, but the blade will stick through the back and cut you when you put your hand in your pocket. It's rare. These ones I'm showing you here are when everything has come together, and it's a great knife for around $100. And you can't believe this knife right here, I could hand to somebody and tell them it was a $300 knife, $330 knife. And just to be honest, you would believe this. What is this? I think this one goes for about $200, but you would believe that this was a $330 knife before you would this if I handed it to you. And that's just the truth. But Tucson, you have to I've got a rule that I tell people, because I've told people before, check out Tucson, and they do, and they come back and they're like, man, I'm not happy at all. And so, as a general rule, you have to try at least 3 of them. Handle 3 of them before you make form an opinion on Tucson. I can't remember a lot of the numbers on these right now, guys, but this is the Cobra. Fantastic knife. Just beautiful 14C 28N steel, all titanium. The pocket clip works fantastic. The action is just golden. And I may have just cut myself. No, well, show must go on. Anyway, it's a great knife. And a lot of Tucsons are. When they really come together and get everything right, you feel like you won, and that's the only way to explain it. This knife for $80, fantastic. It's fantastic. And now the heat treat on some of their M390 and things like that has been a little suspect in the past, but their 14C has always been done well from what I can tell, and I love 14C. But I wish I sold all of my bad Tucsons. I've weeded them all out at this point. But man, they make some fantastic knives, guys. Check out Justin at White Mountain Knives if you're interested in any Tucsons. Justin's great. He's a really, really good dude. You can talk to him if you have any problems or questions. He's easy to get a hold of. He's responsive. He's just excellent dude. And White Mountain Knives is a good place to go. The only other place you can really get Tucsons as a whole and see a lot of different models is eBay. That's kind of how they do them. They'll auction them off, and you can get good deals, or you just got to kind of spend a little time there. But yeah, and then maybe a couple examples that made good first impressions, like out of the box, fantastic. I was sold right off the bat. That's Vero. There's this knife, you couldn't buy a complaint on it. You just couldn't. It's fantastic. But that's not what this video is about. But Vero, yeah, right out of the box, I was sold 100%. And another example of that would have been Kunwu. I have several Kunwu knives, every one of them, from the get-go, right from the very first one. Fantastic, and it's been that way every time. Little personal preference, like the Pulsar and Pulsar XL. For me, I kind of hope they make a Pulsar medium. It's just the small is too small and the big's too big, but that's a me thing, not a them thing. The knife's build quality's fantastic, but yeah. So Kunwu and Vero, just a couple that have been that way. But yeah, guys, with Tucson, if you check them out, you can absolutely win with Tucson. It may take you a few tries. You may get a knife that is just not that pleasant. You just don't like all that well. This is another one. I don't know if I showed this one or not, but they're just, man, yeah. These are all winners right here, and this was probably the most expensive one. I think it's about $180, but on eBay, if you get a good deal, you could probably pick it up for $150. It's well worth that. All these knives here, and these are just a few examples, are all fantastic. EMP EDC, are all great knives too, man. I had that one bad experience. It almost turned me off of them, but I'm glad it didn't. And then Devo. I'll buy another Devo. I just won't buy another Buzz. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Till next time.